Jimmy gets buckets, John. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Double Take with the Safety Brothers. I'm Alex Safety. As always, I'm here with my brother, John, not Jonathan. Johnny boy. John, I need you to start this episode. Give me 3 words to describe Jimmy Butler's performance last night.
Three? All right, let me think. They're in trouble.
Yes, sir. Yes, they are. All right. Obviously, what a performance. What an NBA Finals game. I mean, he's up there right now with the greats. This is as great of a performance as we can remember.
All-time great Heat performance, but not only that, great just NBA Finals performance, period.
Of course. And for Jimmy Butler to have the game of his lifetime at the highest stage possible, what more can you say about this guy? So, obviously, we're going to talk this morning. What am I saying? We're going to talk about last night's game, Game 3. We're going to talk about Heat culture a little bit. We're going to break down how were the Heat able to win this game that everyone seemed to be, picking the Lakers and finally just anticipating the sweep to happen. We're going to talk big picture. Where's the series going? And what do we expect to happen in Game 4? First off, let's break this performance down, John. Let me give you some context, okay? So we have not had a show since our pre-final show.
Yeah, it was last Wednesday.
So we have not been here for Game 1. We haven't given our thoughts on Game 1, Game 2. Of course, the biggest story, Game 1, the Heat's 2 of our 3 top players, our leading scorer in Goran Dragic in the playoffs, and our best player on both ends of the floor, who does so much, who's irreplaceable for us, Bam Adebayo, both go down with injuries in Game 1, John. So we unfortunately go down to 0-2 after that. First game was a blowout with losing those guys. Game 2, we shoot 50-40-90. Incredible offensive game from the Heat, but defensively, we could not do anything against the Lakers. Davis and LeBron both go off against us. So now, no Bam, no Goran, down 0-2 against the best duo in the NBA. And the talk show questions, John, on ESPN become, are the Lakers going to sweep the Heat? It's no more, can the Heat get back into the series?
It's not even that. So who on the Lakers is going to be the Finals MVP?
Yeah, who's it going to be?
Because there's no shot at the Heat even winning a game.
They're completely counting us out. That great quote we had from our coach Eric Spoelstra, we don't give a shit what anybody else thinks.
Oh, my
gosh. And you just love to hear that. Inject that content into my veins, John. And so now we got Rachel Nichols interview pregame on the court, which I don't really like, all right? My guys are shooting around. Don't be going.
And it's weird when they do the one, there was one last week while Duncan Robinson was, stretching.
Yeah, I mean, they've been
warming up. It's like, what?
They've been getting very weird in the bubble. Very weird.
He's, like on the medicine ball, doing, some, sit-ups.
So, yeah, I think it's been very good for me to get put on a couple pounds of weight. Anyway, but, so, of course, Rachel Nichols on the court. And she interviews Jimmy, and Jimmy, he doesn't seem like he's super serious or super, upset or anything. He's kind of bouncing around, got a big smile on his face. He said, we get one tonight, we might be up to something.
Yeah.
Because she asked him about, all right, Bam, go on, what do you think? And I think they saw kind of a timeline of Bam. For me, I'm not a doctor. Goran Dragic, that's not an injury that I think he can come back from this series. Whereas Bam was ended up being kind of a neck strain, and just the shoulder was bugging him. So I think it was good for him to get these 2 games of rest, and Bam should be able to come back in Game 4.
Right. I think so far, just from what I listened to from 5 Reasons Sports, they said that I don't want to say reported, but they sort of said that the vibe was that Bam is expected more to come back Game 4, whereas Goran probably won't return in the series. But the thing is, remember after Game 2 or into Game 2, we heard that Goran and Bam were both pushing.
They want to play.
But he took a decision out of their hands. Which, listen, that's a smart decision long term.
Yeah.
The next season is right now it's October 5th. October, November, December, Christmas.
Probably January. I think we're going to start in January. Actually, Adam Silver before the game, I didn't watch that, but they had some.
The NBA has to talk about. But I think they haven't revealed that Goran's out for the series yet, so who knows? Maybe he might just try and say, listen, this is it. And that's why, another reason, all our guys are going to play the minutes they're going to play. And it's the end of this is it. If we lose, the season's over. So, yeah, if you have a little bit of a sore shoulder, and if it's going to have long-term implications if you hurt it, of course. But at the same time, if you're a little banged up, you got to play.
Absolutely. Okay, so all of those things considered, John, that's the context. Jimmy Buckets went for 40.
40? How many assists, though?
40. All right. Like we said, best game of his career, one of the best games in Heat history and one of the best NBA Finals games we've ever seen. He played, John, 45 minutes, okay? 40 points. That's 14 for 20 shooting, 12 for 14 free throws, that was the thing I was pumped about the whole game.
11, I thought.
No, he had 12 free. I'm looking at it right now.
I sworn I saw 11.
He had 12 free throws. Way to get to the line. That's how you're gonna get buckets. That's how the best players are able to get themselves going.
And we saw LeBron do that as well. But LeBron was missing his free throws.
And this stat too, John: 0 3-pointers taken. I mean, that's incredible. Then 11 rebounds. He said before the game, that's a big difference. We need to rebound the ball tonight. The first 2 games, we got absolutely crushed on the boards. And then he had 13 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks. And that's on the offensive side of things. He guarded LeBron James, the best player in the world, one of the all-time greats. Of course, you could say he's the GOAT. And when he guarded LeBron, according to NBA.com stats, he guarded LeBron on 32 different possessions, John, in Game 3. In those possessions, LeBron had 9 points and 7 turnovers. LeBron had a ton of turnovers.
Yeah, he had 8. Him and AD. AD had 5.
Jeez.
So the fact that they combined for 13, whereas in the last game, Game 2, the whole team had 9 in the entire game. They already had 10 in the first quarter alone. So that was huge, of course, was the fact that our D was forcing them to make bad decisions.
We'll talk about our defense a little bit later. But, John, first I just want to ask you, what did this game mean for Jimmy in the context of his career, in the context of his first NBA Finals, his first season with the Heat? What did this all mean? What did this... It's just a beautiful sight to watch. So, what do you think about it?
Well, first, really quick, we got to talk about the "they're in trouble" quote. So he says they're in trouble. People are asking him about it after the game, and he says, "Well, first." So she goes, I think the reporter at the press conference was, "Jimmy, I just wanted to confirm, you did say they're in trouble?" "Yes, I said that." "Okay, and Jimmy, how do you feel that you guys came out in this game?" And he goes, "Hey, okay, hold on. Before I answer that question, we're not going to act like I just said that. Braun said it to me after the first quarter, and I said it in the fourth quarter." So, he was just throwing that back at LeBron, and I love that. And that's why I agree with you, Alex.
Although,
we're going to see LeBron.
You're going to see LeBron come. Exactly.
We're going to see him come next game.
But Frank Vogel's going to put that picture of Tyler Hero with the snarl. He's going to put that in the locker room and say, "Guys, you see this?
Yeah.
Let's go out and get a win now."
Right. So this is the game of his career, like you said. He was the leader of the team. He was aggressive, which is what I love, because I know we've been seeing just different types of Jimmy, because that's just the Swiss Army knife type of player that he is. He could be more of a defensive guy all game. He could be more of the passer. He could do all the different intangible things that you need him to do. But this game, he showed that he is, and we're going to maybe talk about this at another episode, arguably top 10 player in the league. And because he was able to score and make plays when it was needed to, he had to come up big and score this many points this game, right? So, and it wasn't just that he just shot everything, right? And I think we saw LeBron James, it wasn't the LeBron James usage rate that we saw in 2015.
He shot 20 shots, John. Exactly. He scored 40 points on 20 shots.
On 20 shots, that's extremely...
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, extremely.
In the NBA Finals?
Right. So not a huge amount of shots. Of course, getting to the free throw line was huge. 14 for 20,
good at that.
And that he didn't attempt a 3, right?
Yeah.
But the fact, and like you said, defended LeBron, who had 8 turnovers. You said 7 of them.
Yeah, 7 of them was against Jimmy.
So it's a pure masterpiece. The series is not over. It's 2-1 now. But the reason I say this is just a defining moment in his career, of course, because this just represents who he is, right? It represents that he doesn't care if he's counted out. And this has been the theme all postseason and all year for this Miami Heat team, but specifically being led by Jimmy Butler, right? He went to junior college, out of Marquette, last pick in the draft.
He was literally, when he was a kid, he literally didn't have a home. Exactly. He was bouncing around.
So, people talked all this garbage after he leaves the Sixers. Oh, the Heat are going to be a 6 or 7, 8 seed.
Wow, Jimmy, did you want to team up with LeBron or Kawhi? Right,
he didn't go to the Lakers.
He didn't go chase a star. He chased his young ragtag team.
He didn't stay with the team. He didn't stay with Simmons and Embiid, right?
Yeah.
He didn't do that. He didn't want to lead those young guys because they weren't his type of young guys. This is a man that took the third stringers of the Timberwolves just to go prove that they need him, that he's much better than Cat and Karl Anthony Towns and Andrew Wiggins, the stars who just weren't hungry the way he is, right?
And of course, when you see those reports, it was I don't know about that. I don't know if Jimmy Butler actually did that. And then you watch that game last night, and it's that's probably what it looked like. That's probably what it looked like. He just took the third stringers and beat the stars. Exactly. That's exactly what he just did.
So, he leads us to the 4 or the 5 seed, however you want to view it. We sweep the Pacers. We finished off the 1 seed, the back-to-back MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, in 5 games. And then we beat Boston in 6, okay? And now we're down 0-2 in the NBA Finals against an absolute juggernaut. Like, who really thought the Heat were going to be able to pull off this Game 3 win? I mean, Vegas didn't.
It's not even that.
The odds were like, it was Lakers minus 450 was the money line. The Heat Lakers were favored by 10, of course. And because seeing no Bam, arguably what people have been saying, our best player.
I think he's at least our most valuable. If you want to say he's definitely our most valuable. He brings the most value to our team.
And Goran, who was our leading scorer the entire playoffs, okay? We're going against this juggernaut, GOAT LeBron, with a GOAT teammate, right? and Anthony Davis, okay? And obviously we're in the bubble, no home court, whatever. So it's not like, oh, well, the Heat have home court. Maybe they'll steal one of those games. It's like, this is neutral. The Lakers could just easily sweep this if Bam or Goran doesn't come back. But Jimmy plays all 48. He plays 45 minutes. He scored, he passed, he rebounded, he defended LeBron, and he led the Heat to an NBA Finals win when everyone counted them out. And that's just defines his career.
Something I saw on Twitter a few times was this reminded people of, this is what Rob Perez, Worldwide Wob, was saying. This reminded him of Game 3 of the 2015 NBA Finals. That Finals where LeBron has 2 of his teammates out, Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love.
Game 2, you mean?
No, Game 3 was the game that they go up 2-1. It was like a huge...
Well, right, but I'm thinking more of in Game 2, it was a close one in Golden State. LeBron did everything, and it was right after Kyrie got hurt, and they said, no, Kyrie.
Sure,
Warriors are going to
I guess it could be either of those games.
I think it was the first game.
It doesn't matter. It could be either of those games. The point is, the teams counted out, injuries, it's supposed to be a sweep, and the total opposite happens, and Jimmy Butler pretty much out LeBron in this game, John. He was the first player ever. LeBron James has played 52 NBA Finals games in his career, right?
Yeah,
Jimmy Butler was the first player to ever outscore, out-rebound, and out-assist LeBron in the same night of an NBA Finals game.
That's ridiculous.
Can you think about that? Think about the guys LeBron's going up against. Kawhi Leonard, Kevin Durant, even, Steph Curry. Like, he's played Tim Duncan. He's played against some great players. And Jimmy Butler is the only player to ever do something like that.
I mean, it shows the fact that he's probably the best all-around player, you could say. Like, as great of a scorer as KD and Steph Curry are, they weren't going to get a lot of assists, Mm-hmm. So, or even Steph wouldn't get a lot of rebounds. So, Jimmy, that's why it's fun to see him. And LeBron even had a quote after the game how, he's like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to compete at this level. So it means a lot to be able to go up against a competitor like Jimmy Butler. And
I love
he
that.
earns LeBron's respect, clearly.
That's so awesome. And Jimmy Butler was saying something too after the game, like, LeBron's gotten the best of me, too many times in my opinion. So, and I'm glad. That's why it's so good. I love to see especially after when he's talking trash at the end of the game. And how good is that? Like, even let's say you're playing pickup, you're doing whatever. Someone's talking early in the game, and when it's always a great feeling when you can have that last laugh. But speaking of LeBron and Jimmy, I want to give you some stats, John.
What kind of records?
What kind of records?
Just to show how impressive this game was.
So this is the third 40-point triple-double in an NBA Finals game. The other 2 people to do it, the logo, Jerry West, he did it back in the 60s and 70s.
It was Game 7 in 1969, and they lost. They lost
and they lost that game.
He had a 40-point triple-double, and they lost to the Celtics.
The Celtics, yeah. LeBron did it twice. Oh, no, not twice. LeBron did it once in
2015.
In 2015, I think that was game...
It was in a win. I don't think
it was.
It wasn't a win.
I think. Okay. Anyway, whatever. We'll check that later. He's one of the 3 players to ever lead both teams in an NBA Finals game in points, rebounds, and assists. The other 2 guys to do it, they're also guys that Pat Riley was able to acquire. LeBron James, Shaquille O'Neal. LeBron did it twice in 2015. One of them was the 40-point triple-double. And then Shaq did it in 2002. Speaking of Shaq, actually.
That's kind of crazy that like Magic has never done that. Both in points, rebounds, assists.
Yeah, I mean, it's because he was never going for, a ton of points, really, I guess, right?
It's just crazy how short the list is. There.
Yeah, this game, we can't, we watched it, and until we saw this, I don't think I could fully even appreciate it. I mean, it was incredible. Another thing, speaking of Shaq, Jimmy Butler, first player to score 40 points and have no threes in the NBA Finals. Wow. Or not even, I think it's not even attempted 3, since Shaq in 2002. Think about that, too. In the NBA... where everyone's just chucking threes, and no matter who you are, Jimmy Butler did not even take one three-pointer, John.
If this is like, oh, Damian Lillard had 40 and a triple-double in the final, or Steph Curry, or like Luka Doncic, or even LeBron, like you're thinking, okay, they hit at least a couple, if not for these high-volume shooters like Steph and Dame and Luka, like they probably did a lot of that off of scoring like 8 3-pointers.
Exactly.
Jimmy did it off of none. Free throws and just straight going into the paint, and that's an OG scoring game. That's some old school.
Yeah,
basketball.
it's old school. This performance overall was Jordan-esque, but especially you just look at it, he didn't even shoot a three. That you never see that in today. Someone's getting 40 in today's NBA. It's because of the threes,
right? And it just shows the dog that he has in him, and the fact that he was literally gonna fight these guys.
Yeah,
like he took it to the hole every single time.
And that's why I actually want to talk about his efficiency really quick. This is another stat: there's been 7 games all time in any NBA Finals or regular season or playoffs, whatever, where someone has had a 40-point triple-double and shot 70% or better from the field.
Wait, you saying the first time in the finals?
No. There's only been 7 games of a 40-point triple-double and 70% shooting.
But that's in regular season.
No, regular season.
How about the playoffs?
So in the playoffs, there's been 2, including Jimmy's. Okay. The other one in the playoffs was Charles Barkley in the conference finals in 1993.
Okay, so basically no one has ever done that in NBA finals.
Yeah, and the last person to do that was in a regular season. It was in 1995, which Chris Webber. And then
25 years ago.
So 25 years ago was the last time that happened.
40-point triple-double.
These are all big men except for the other one was Magic Johnson, also regular season. So it's Wilt Chamberlain 3 times, Magic once, Charles Barkley once, and Chris Webber once.
Right, all big guys.
But none of them was in like huge games.
Makes sense because they're all just dunking the ball. They're going to shoot a higher field goal percentage.
Yeah, of course.
Jimmy, 40-point triple-double, 70% field goal percentage.
And this is definitely, I mean, I think we just woke up. I listened to the beginning of Bill Simmons, and he was saying that this, if you take out, the top 10, 12 guys of all time, after that, This is right up there with any other finals performance. Which I don't know if I like that condition that he put on it. It's if you take out all the
but
great,
it's true, all the Pantheon guys.
But you tell me who
all the LeBrons, the Jordans, the Magics, the Birds. They have all. I mean, even
it's a perfect game, John. That's a perfect game for Jimmy Butler. Like I don't even think. But this is as good of a game we've seen anyone.
Jimmy's not an all-time great player. Like maybe he wins a ring in his career. He'll make the Hall of Fame or something, but.
But this performance, I don't care how great you think Jimmy is. This performance is easily up there with any of the other ones.
But he's also saying, take away the LeBron, the Shaq, the Barkley great finals games. Yeah. This is probably the greatest game for a guy that wasn't expected to do this. I think that's the point that he's saying with that.
Okay, so before John, I'm going to ask you how the Heat were able to pull this win off. I just want to give another shout out, as we always are, to the Miami Heat culture and way to find Jimmy Butler.
Shout outs anymore.
Exactly. This whole podcast.
It's a Miami Heat podcast.
I mean, we might as well change the name.
Heat take. It's not double take anymore.
But Spoelstra after the game was saying, D Wade was telling me. He said, "This is your next guy. This is your and."
He said he looked me and Pat Riley in the face. Like this is
the next guy. And everything. Just the work ethic, the no excuse mentality, not caring about anything else.
Again, the attitude.
Just I want to go out there and I want to win. And Jimmy Butler saying we're not underdogs, we're just dogs.
Right.
Like,
and before
everything
the game,
about this was like
just the way he kept his cool and said, like you said, he said to Rachel Nichols, we got some even before game 2, which we ended up losing by 10 points. He said we're gonna win. He said that, right? So of course he's not gonna say we're gonna lose, but the fact that he wasn't just giving the straight plain answers. We got to go out there and we got to do our job and he wasn't doing that, okay? Mm-hmm. He's there, he's confident, he's calm, like just have a player like that. It's just so rewarding.
And not even he's like after the game, I don't care about 40 points, I don't care about a triple double. All I care about is winning.
And he said, and you know what? Next game I'll have 0 and we'll get the win and I'll come up here and tell you guys the same exact thing.
Exactly.
I do not care about
triple
double.
Do whatever it takes. And that's what this
just
culture
care
is
about winning.
And that's once again just why it's such a beautiful marriage between Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat. And I do want to say this, John, because at the end of the show, we're going to talk about what we think is going to happen going forward. A lot of people obviously counting us out, counting the Heat out, and it's very, very it is likely that LeBron and AD come out next game and they're going to be super fired up. And let's say we go down 3-1. I'm glad that this moment happened. If anything else, this is it was a great night of basketball, great Miami Heat win.
Even if we're unable to win the series, no doubt, it's still unlikely.
John, how did the Miami Heat, of course, behind Jimmy Butler, but what else happened in that game? Because Jimmy Butler,
other than Jimmy,
you can't. I mean, yeah, you can put the team on your back, but you're playing against LeBron James, and Anthony Davis. How were the Heat able to pull off this win?
All right, so number one was Anthony Davis getting in that early foul trouble.
Of course.
Okay, and that's number one because, of course, everyone was talking and speculating after the first 2 games. He'll probably, give LeBron a run for his money trying to get the Finals MVP, right? After when he just shot unconscious. I can't remember what his exact shooting percentage was. He was like 14 for 15.
Miss. He just did not miss.
He did not miss all these far-out shots. We got Jay Crowder just doing everything he can to contest. And he's a 6'10 guy, hitting 3-pointers, making far-out jump shot, mid-range shots. And, of course, he could pick it up, he could drive, he could pass, he could just do anything. So to get him in foul trouble early was huge with the fact that we didn't have our defensive player, our best defensive player, our future defensive player of the year, Bam Adebayo, in. So even though he played 10.5 minutes of the third quarter with 4 fouls. So usually...
I mean, he got that foul. I don't remember when it was, but it was early in the third quarter. I remember just being like, please, guys, go at him.
Yeah.
Please.
So for anyone who's listening who doesn't know, you're allowed to have 6 fouls in an NBA game, right? And when you get 4, the coach will pull you and save your last 2 fouls, foul number 5, foul number 6 for the fourth quarter. He plays pretty much the entire third quarter with 4 fouls. But the reason why it doesn't matter is because he still couldn't play help defense. He sat in the corner on Kelly Olynyk. He just face guarded him, and he avoided contesting anything to give the ref the opportunity to blow the whistle. So even though he was still playing those minutes with those fouls, they weren't as effective because he was compromised. He wasn't gonna play like Anthony Davis plays. Like, he's not gonna play with the confidence like, okay, if I foul, I foul. He had to just reel himself in and cage himself a little bit and keep himself on the leash. And because of that, it opens up the floor. He's not coming in. It opens up the paint for Jimmy to just take his defenders one-on-one. There was no double team on Jimmy.
That did happen a lot.
Jimmy could take KCP if he got to switch. He could take Caruso if he got to switch. Markieff Morris. If he drove and LeBron came over, because LeBron didn't have those fouls, he would chuck it out to the three-point shooters who were open. Davis just stuck in the corner, and that just totally took their defense.
Wait, when you were listening to those guys, you forgot one guy. He did also take LeBron to the rack. Exactly. I just want to make sure we say that on the show.
He did. He went right at LeBron, which is something that we haven't really seen. Okay, number 2 is Coach Spo switching up the defensive scheme. And coming into Game 2, I'll just say this quickly. I had $7 on the Heat. The odds were 7.
Game 3. Game 3.
Game 3.
You said Game 2.
I'm sorry, Game 3.
Coming into
7
Game 3.
to win 25. But even though I had those $7 on the Heat, I was willing to lose them for my team. But it's because after Game 2, I just didn't know how we would switch it up. Because I was expecting Spo to go like a little bit more different defensively in Game 2. But he kind of kept it too similar. But, however, after Game 2, I knew there was still a few more chess moves to make. And switching up the zone and instead going with man, but having huge defensive, like double teaming LeBron, double teaming Davis. Our defensive help
there was a lot. It was just like those 2 guys. Get the ball out of those 2 guys' hands pretty much.
Because the zone in games 1 and 2 was just too easily picked apart.
Game 1, we actually didn't. I saw it's like we played like only like 4 or 5 possessions of zone. We didn't play a ton of zone in game 1. I think what happens is once Bam goes out, we're like, okay, we're gonna struggle defensively. We can't switch on everything like we usually do. We don't have Bam who's guarding everyone all over the court. We have to go to zone and hide Duncan Robinson, who's gonna have to play more minutes, and hide Tyler Hero, hide Myers Leonard, hide these guys in the back of the zone.
Kelly Olynyk.
Well, exactly, all of them. So we're gonna have to hide these guys in the zone, and of course, the Lakers absolutely torched.
And that's the thing. The Lakers just have too many cerebral guys. LeBron, Rondo, like Anthony Davis. Even Alex Caruso is a smart guy who makes the right basketball play. And that's why LeBron will rave about him, in their post-game, press conferences. And they made the right passes and found so many open threes. And especially in the corner. That's why they shot more threes than Miami did in Game 2, and which everyone was saying. If you didn't have a shot, they needed to shoot these threes.
And you know what it was too, I think, and this makes sense. I want to even though the zone didn't work, we did expect the Lakers to regress back to the mean from after they shot a blistering hot whatever it was 65% from 3 in like the first half that game. Like, of course, that's not going to happen again. So, yeah, would you rather them keep moving the ball and have, like, KCP, Markieff Morris, Rondo have to win the game from the arc rather than let LeBron and Davis torch us? Like, although both things happen.
So, that's
going back to man, was very successful.
Yes, that's
remember, John, the beginning of the game, we had Davis, every time he was getting the ball, they just got out of his hands. Even before he got into foul trouble. So I think that was huge.
And the fact that he was turning it over early, it was like, he didn't score in the first quarter. He was like 0 points, which was like, and he
zero shots.
He didn't have the shot.
Yeah,
so it just shows you the fact that, and also the foul trouble. Usually he stays in towards and LeBron takes a blow towards the end of the first quarter. They had to switch it up. LeBron had to come get him because he had 2 fouls. Then he gets the quick third one in the second quarter. But again, that's reason number 2 was the man-to-man defense that we played that featured these heavy double teams onto Davis and the help D when Duncan Robinson would get targeted or switch on to LeBron. That was it was masterful. And like I said, there were more chess moves to make after game 2, and that is why I did not fully count the Heat out in this series and thought they'd at least steal one game, even if Bam didn't play. Okay. Number 3, Tyler Hero confidence. How about this? We usually mention Tyler very early in the episode, Alex. Tyler Hero's
25-minute mark.
Like always, he did not care that he shot 3. He was 3 for 15 at one point in this game, right? He kept with his game. He let his game come to it, and I will also I say that's a testament to Jimmy because Jimmy did the same. Jimmy didn't force things. He made the pass when he needed to. He went to the hole when he was called to do that. And Hero did the same thing. Hero was just shooting his normal shots, the mid-range shots, his open threes that he usually makes about a more higher percentage.
There's a world in which he makes a few of those shots that are like we said,
right,
shots that he makes, and it's just 15, 20.
He's 3 for 15. Like I said, he kept with it. And he finished in the fourth quarter. Then after going 3 for 15, he made his next 3 shots. He was 3 for 3. He clutched out this win as a 20-year-old. He's not 21. 20-year-old kid, 17 points, huge game for him. I would probably say him and Kelly tied for second most important game right after Jimmy.
Yeah, and he definitely struggled a lot throughout the game. But like you said, I mean, it's better. Maybe sometimes it's better to be timely than good, and he did hit. Totally. And I think it was actually one point in the game.
Shout out Shane Battier. That's the quote.
Yeah. Well, there's one point in the game where you said, I think he's about to hit a big shot soon. Like he missed a few. Like, all right, he's gonna hit it. It's time for a big Tyler shot, and he literally sunk the 3 right after. Are those all the things that you said?
There's
one
more
thing
thing
I
think
you
one.
missed.
Number 4 was everyone else embracing their role. So Spo, we actually played 10 guys. Thinking about that, we were really 8 deep because there was about half a minute from Derrick Jones Jr. and 4 minutes from Solomon Hill. But the fact that Kelly, Myers, Duncan, Crowder, Iggy, and Nunn just all did what they were supposed to do. They didn't try to do too much, but they also didn't do too little. And they were just good, perfect glue guys. The example of, like, you have your 2 stars, but there's the guys that have to be selfless and, like, just serve the team, the needs of the team. And maybe that's not, like, the most fun things. Maybe that's the dirty work, right? So just to quickly, like, break a little bit of this down, I loved what Myers did. I loved what Myers Leonard did. He started both halves off. Him getting chippy with Dwight, like, pushing Dwight around. I love that because Dwight's talking trash. Dwight thinks he's, like, the best center ever of all time. And I just love the fact that we we got a 7-foot, I don't even know how heavy. It's just massive.
He's a big dude.
Myers is big. And even though he's not known for his defense, he's big. So I loved what Myers did.
And that hard foul is like that means something, sometimes even if you got a flagrant whatever, like, you have to set the tone. And like these guys were in the paint last game just torching us. One of the games, I think it might have been the first game actually, they missed like 2 shots in the paint. Like they just there was no interior defense. And so for him to come in and set the tone, he played only 7 minutes.
He had one possession on LeBron, remember, where he gets switched on to LeBron. He's like, low base. He's keeping his hands out.
Yeah, I think LeBron shot a 3 and he missed it.
LeBron busted a move, and LeBron just chucks a 3 over his head, which is like, okay.
We'll take that. I'll take that.
You could take Myers Leonard to the hole, but please shoot that 3. Yeah. But just to get back, the fact that Bam's not playing, so to have Myers and Kelly, right, they combined for 44 minutes. Those were pretty much all the Bam minutes because in game 1, it looked like we weren't going to play either of those guys after they hadn't played towards the end of the Boston series. So 44 minutes from them, 24 points out of them, 8 rebounds, and 8 for 12 from the field, right? So not a lot of rebounds, not as many rebounds, not the defense that Bam would give us. But to give us those 44 minutes that Bam would have had, and on offense to do what they did, hitting the open shots. Kelly and Myers were huge. Duncan, of course, staying composed.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure you mentioned Duncan as well.
His bad misses early, but he did more than threes, He was 1 for 2 on 2-point field goals, so we usually don't see him drive. But he had a one possession where he drove.
He drove and
got the
it
foul.
was like a nice drive, and the defender, he got right by the defender. I think it was towards the end of the game.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking of the one in the beginning where he got fouled, knocks
Oh
out
yeah,
2 free
that's
throws.
good. That was good too.
And so he drove the foul. Even had 2 steals, 1 block. So despite his 4 fouls,
His defense was I was very impressed that
he's improved, most improved, but his D is still very.
No, it's not. It's not
good.
I mean, if they were another thing we did is every time that LeBron would try to get him to switch on, Jimmy would come right back and they would do a good job of passing them off, and Jimmy staying with LeBron and Duncan getting back to his guy. But I think Duncan did a good job. There were a few possessions where I'm like, Kuzma's gonna cook him, and he actually did a good job on Kuzma. So shout out to Duncan Robinson. Also, plus minus, he was plus 27 in 39 minutes. How about that, John? 39 minutes. That's huge. So love that for Duncan.
Him huge. Again, all our role guys, none doing what he did. Iggy, even Solomon Hill
coming in 4 minutes or whatever. Yeah, 4 minutes. He played 1 for 1 3-pointer.
Yeah, just
he
shot
matched
the
LeBron.
one open shot, and I was
shot for shot with LeBron James. Solomon Hill did that.
I have to admit, I just 100 when he shot it, I immediately was like, "No, what are you doing?"
Yeah, I said respect it, bro.
He made it. I'm happy, but those are my 4 keys, Alex. 80 in foul trouble early.
There's one big one you actually missed, though.
All right, then you can go. Spo switching the defensive scheme, Hero's confidence, and everyone else just embracing their role. So go ahead. What was your one? What I missed?
So John, one thing I think that you missed out was Jimmy said at the beginning of the game, we need to rebound the ball better this game. And game 1, I think we got out-rebounded by like 20. It was something like 55 to 34, something like crazy. Like they just got every single rebound over us. Of course, they crush us in size, and when Bam goes out, that's never going to help either. Game 2 was a little bit less, but this game we did a much better job overall of rebounding the ball. Davis, John, let's hold him accountable. Yeah, he was in foul trouble, but he still played 33 minutes. He only had 5 rebounds.
And
it's not like Dwight was stealing. I guess LeBron had 10, so like sure. Jimmy Butler was probably stealing them too.
And this is a good time to expose just not just like people on I think we like talk a lot of trash about people on ESPN like Fox Sports 1, like the Cowherds and the Stephen A's. No, I'm calling out that. I'm just calling out just people who watch sports in general, and I'm calling out just recency bias. Yes, everyone. So like just people just go talking about, is Davis the best player in the world? Like, no. Hold on. Like we knew what the answer was to this question. He never could do anything like this. Well, he put up numbers, but he was never winning without having a teammate like LeBron. We're not going to call him better than Giannis. We're not going to call him better than 2-time MVP Kawhi Leonard. I'm not even going to call him better than Luka. I still want Luka on my team before I have Anthony Davis leading my team. Okay? So I'm just going to say,
I think I do too. If you're starting a team.
Is Davis the best player in the world? Question mark. No. Like, look at what he did all playoffs long. He had Portland, and he was able to dominate because they didn't have anyone guard him. Then it's the micro ball Houston Rockets, who was able to have a great series. Again, then they didn't even go up against either the Clippers or the Nuggets. We knew he was going to cook because they didn't have a big man to guard him, okay? So now he's finally going to go up against Bam this series, and now he gets injured. And guess what? In game 2, no way. He played amazing. He had a great game. Oh, no. He was shooting over Jay Crowder's head. Yeah. We expect him to do this. So I'm just going to slow the roll on the anointing Davis. LeBron is the best player on that team and leads that team. Anthony Davis is the number 2 guy. He's an all-time great number 2. Maybe one of the best number 2s
There's
ever.
so many guys that you put number 2 on next to LeBron, and of course we're going to go crazy about that.
He's not better than Giannis. He's not better than Luka. Okay, like he could have the Dame conversation.
Luka might be an argument.
He could have the Dame conversation.
Luka's a little young, but anyway. But I'm glad you.
I need to expose that. I just had to.
All right, big picture, John. Where is this series going? Obviously, still the main story with everything is how the injuries ruined. Right. What would have been a super, super competitive series. Now it's 2-1. At least, 2-1 versus 3-0. At least we do have something interesting. Game 4 will be intriguing.
Yeah, listen, if we're fully healthy, we could have seen this series being 2-0. I'm sorry, 2-1. Right? We probably would have split. Maybe the Lakers
definitely
won
say
game
that
3.
Happen. I would definitely say that.
It'd at least be that. So 2-1. Right now is Monday. Tomorrow, Tuesday night, Tyler Tuesday is game 4. Okay, if Bam plays, obviously that helps us so much. Even if he's 80% himself or 60%, 70% himself, he maybe he's not gonna give us the full Bam game. But to have Jimmy, realize how he can take over, what we know at the team. Again, Alex, you've been hinting at it all game. We're gonna see LeBron come out determined. We're gonna see him hungry. But if the Heat can somehow pull out game 4 and the series is 2-2, then now they have, just based on the scheduling, then they have 2 days off after that. That
would be huge.
They'll have the 7th, which is Wednesday, and they'll have the 8th, Thursday off. And game 5 would be on Friday. So if you can even it up, now you get 2 days to rest. Again, it's probably unlikely with with a torn, I don't know, ligament. I don't even know what it is, the fascia or whatever.
It's a torn muscle essentially on the bottom of his foot. It's really. I don't think he's gonna come. I think it would be stupid for him to come back, especially in a contract year.
So Goran probably won't see him the rest of the series. But if we get 2 games off, maybe Bam can get closer to 100%.
Yeah.
And it's 2-2. And now it's a 3-game series, games 5, 6, and 7. Whoever wins 2 of those games is gonna win it. And we have everyone on our team at full strength except for Goran Dragic. Of course, like that's huge. But even so, game 4, if you're going to ask me who I'm really going to pick, I'd probably give the slight nod to the Lakers. We know that there's no quitting the Heat. We know we're going to give it our all. But just seeing the way how bad, just straight up bad, LeBron and AD were, I don't expect them to do this in game 4.
And we just talked about everything all the records and all the crazy things that now the list that Jimmy Butler is in because of his game. Like Jimmy Butler had to have an all-time finals performance, an all-time game every year. He said we had to play, and Jimmy Butler played a perfect game.
It was a masterpiece.
You had to play perfect, and we were able to win. So of course, do you expect that to happen the next game? No, you probably would not expect that to happen again. But I do think that there is a world in which we can win even without Bam. But of course, like you said, what I've been saying, LeBron is gonna come out. Last game I expected at some point for him to just flip the switch and just go and go and go. Mm-hmm. And there was a few plays where it's like he went to the rack and he's like, all right, LeBron, if you do that every play, there was nothing, not even Jimmy Butler, no one's gonna stop.
That's another thing that's so frustrating. Like,
but I think he's doing the thing where he's still passing. He's like, I want my guys to get involved. I need them. Blah blah blah.
It seemed like he had like 8 and 1s. I feel like every time he would just drive, it was like the layup.
That is true.
And Jay Crowder would throw his hand there. Duncan Robinson would graze his arm. He's gonna yell and throw his head back, make the layup, and then go to the free throw line. Which also LeBron did not shoot well. Like a bunch of free throws he missed. I don't have the exact numbers here, but
yeah, I mean there was a few times where he was able to get it rolling a little bit, but I really did down the stretch. I mean, even we're going into the fourth quarter, we had I think a 5-point lead, and I'm like, all right guys, come on, hang on. And then I'm really expecting at some point, they have LeBron and they have Davis, 2 guys who can fully take over a game, even with Jimmy Butler doing what he was doing. And the thing I kept saying was let's make Markieff Morris the Finals MVP. That should be our goal as the Heat. Like if he's gonna hit 5 threes, good. Like, you keep giving him the ball. Get it out of LeBron's hands. Get it out of Davis' hands. I don't care if Markieff Morris is not.
Right, because you know what, he will make a couple threes in a row, but then on that third one that they're desperately gonna need, he won't hit the third in a row.
That's what I'm saying. Like, or you know what, if he does, like whatever, we'll lose to Markieff. Don't lose to their best 2 players. Like, that they're gonna go to. So. You know what? Obviously, like the game 4 is gonna be do or die. It's make or break. This is 3-1 versus 2-2. Very huge difference.
I mean, every game. That's why 3-0 versus 2-1 is massive.
For sure. But now that it's 2-1, looking forward, this is it.
You have seen this before, Alex, haven't they?
That's right. 2006 down 0-2. We win 4 straight, Heat in 6.
A young guy that led us, who was from Marquette
University,
with 40 points. Right.
That game, and what? Really quick before we end, Dwayne Wade, that game 3 versus in that 06 finals, D-Wade they're down 0-2. It's just like this one. Mm-hmm. D-Wade goes 42 points, 13 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Like that was like the game. Like, all right, like no, I'm not letting my team win. That's what Jimmy did. I'm not letting my team lose. Refusing to lose. And that's exactly what Jimmy did, I think. Similar game. Like, my team is not going to lose tonight. Like, I'm going to get one at least. I don't care. But, yeah, hopefully Bam can come back. I really think he will, based on what Jimmy said. He said, we get one tonight, we might be up to something.
Right. So hopefully, defensively, that would just help so much. Of course, offensively, what Bam does, it would just be a completely different look to throw at the Lakers. And that would give us the edge, I think, to go out there and win a game 4 in which, it's kind of like this. There's momentum in the finals and it swings back and forth and it's like, all right, now the pressure's on the Lakers. The Lakers are going to come out better and hungrier. But if we can get Bam in the game that they're supposed to come back hungry, that really throws them off. And to have Bam in game 4,
of course,
it's the only way I think we're going to have a shot.
Huge. Okay, John, I think that just about wraps things up. This is a nice Jimmy Butler raving episode.
Yeah, again,
we had to.
This is not double take.
Very deservedly.
It's not double take anymore. It's Heat take.
No, not even that. It's Jimmy Butler take. How about that? All right. Thank you all for listening. Have a good one. As always, go Heat.